like a very long time that we've had actually good gaming news. I know lately I've been banging on PS5 and Xbox really hard because they deserve it. It seems like gaming as a whole doesn't feel like it's in a good place. It doesn't seem like anything's happening. We've had new trailers, new updates, possible release dates, and we're just gonna kind of talk about them. As you can see by the thumbnail, we got Black Myth Wukong, Crimson Desert, Genshin Impact, and how that has impacted other games, MMOs like Blue Protocol, which isn't even an MMO anymore, as well as Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker expansion, which I'm super excited about, and Haptic Feedback and 3D sound coming to the horror genre where it could really excel in the Callisto protocol. So we have a lot to cover, and as always, if you do like the video, please leave a like, as that lets me know y'all want to see more gaming type content. I did take into account the likes on the anime videos, and that's why it was thrown in last time, so keep that up. It's very much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show.
First, I'm going to start off with the PlayStation 5 and the Callisto protocol. This is just yet another reason why the PlayStation 5 won this console war, and it's that haptic feedback in that controller and this idea of 3D audio. I'm still kind of confused as to how that works and what we're going to be seeing in the future with it, but clearly producers and directors and game creatives are really excited about that 3D audio and the haptic feedback. The haptic feedback is something I can understand. I'm super excited about it, but I don't have a PS5. I mean, who does? But this is why the PlayStation 5 won. No gimmicks with a Game Pass, no BS. They just delivered next gen. So let's talk about Callisto Protocol and how they plan to use this technology. If you want more details, the article by Screen Rant is a good one. The Callisto Protocol wants to use PS5 DualSense controller to scare you. I cannot wait for this. Hopefully games like Resident Evil are also going to do things like this. A little background and something I found a little weird. The Callisto Protocol is set in the same universe as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which at first, and I guess I kinda am still like, ugh, why? But far in the future on Jupiter's moon, Callisto, where the player must fight to escape a maximum security prison. The game is expected to be filled with environmental narrative and atmosphere, as the development team was founded by Glenn Schofield, who worked on the original Dead Space. Dead Space is one of the games I want a remaster, or at the very least, put it out on PlayStation so we can play the trilogy. I, for one, would really like that. I don't understand why Dead Space is just literally dead. It's an occult classic game and has to stay that way. Bring that shit to PlayStation, you might get a Dead Space 4, I don't understand. The PS5 has 3D audio technology, which can be great for horror games if used correctly, as sounds surround the player with just the use of a headset and no need for fancy speakers or sound bars. Awesome. But the part that got me excited, the DualSense controller is also full of potential when it comes to horror games with the powerful vibrations that it is capable of and adaptive triggers that measure the pressure of the player's fingers. Exciting stuff, and the horror genre is perfect for these next-gen upgrades. This is going to be dope when they do this correctly. I have full faith. And this is what Schofield kind of had to say. With the graphical power of the PS5, the visuals of the game will be vivid and visceral. He says that the Callisto Protocol will look more real than other games, and that there's so much detail we can put in it now, it's crazy. Hopefully the tie-ins to PUBG isn't too heavy. I'm not a PUBG player, don't care for it. Battle Royale genre, cool, but let's leave Battle Royale where it is. Let's not try to branch it out. It's okay for what it is, because I don't want to have to play PUBG or know that much about PUBG to understand what's going on in the Callisto Protocol. I think that would be a real shame, considering PUBG is damn near 10 years old at this point. I'd have to catch up on multiple seasons and multiple story with that, and that all just turns me off heavily. So hopefully it's just a little Easter egg thrown in for the fans, and that's it. Schofield goes on to talk about the tech, and the article also talks about how other devs praise PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech, and with good reason. Sound plays a huge part in making a good scare work. The sound is pretty amazing. It's the 3D sound, and what you could do with that. and that is integral to creating a survival horror game, reveals Schofield. You've got to have great sound. So the sound alone, I could just talk about the sound because it's amazing. You can hear something and it sounds like it's behind your back or it's just above you. With headphones on, it's insane. It's really dope and refreshing to hear the dev, Schofield, talk in this excited way about the technology. That is what's super attractive about the project overall. The team have ideas for using the DualSense haptic feedback to immerse you in the horror too. We'll see how we can get that to work, but I think we can get a couple of scares right out of the controller itself, he says. To think that a couple of scares are just going to come from the controller has me thinking back to Metal Gear when they used the controller and you had to unplug it. That feeling is just so dope. Let me know what you think about the Callisto Protocol. I think this is a game that the industry, the survival horror genre, not even survival, could just be horror, has been severely lacking, and Resident Evil seems to be the staple, and I'm really excited for that too, but I want more horror games, and that trailer, by the way, was just amazing. Go check it out and let me know what you think. Other big news includes Final Fantasy XIV's Endwalker expansion details, release date, and more. I am a Final Fantasy XIV MMO player. On February 5th, Final Fantasy XIV director and producer Neko Yoshida presented an announcement showcase for the next expansion, Endwalker. The first thing that was shown off was a brand new CG trailer announcing that Endwalker will launch in fall 2021. So hype, gotta get things done before that expansion because it's going to be crazy. Don't forget, Yoshida is also working on Final Fantasy XVI, which is shaping up to also be amazing, and we should be getting news about that very soon. One of the bigger points I wanted to talk about was the Anima reveal. Final Fantasy X's Anima, Seymour's mom, that Anima. Super excited for this element to be thrown into Final Fantasy XIV and see how they can make it fit into the world. I don't think it'll be too difficult, and the good news here is that the original creator of the Anima design is also working on the Final Fantasy XIV updated design. That is a very nice touch. I can't wait till fall 2021. Let me know, do you play Final Fantasy XIV? Are you an MMO player? I ask you because that's going to bleed into the next two topics we talk about. MMOs. Blue Protocol has been on my radar as an MMO fan and an anime fan for a very long time. I thought this was going to be my next MMO, the anime .hack I've always wanted and never got to play, and I thought Blue Protocol was it. But this is a little bit of bad news in my opinion. However, it may be good to you if you are not an MMO fan. You can definitely go check out the Gamepedia if you want more information on what Blue Protocol is, or was, or what currently now is. But it seems like the talk around town is that Blue Protocol is no longer an MMO RPG. Rage Gaming Videos had this. I also looked onto Reddit and found some other things as well that kind of support this idea, as well as the game being marketed now as an action RPG with online elements. Definitely go check this video out if you want more. I've been following the Blue Protocol story for a while, and what I can't help feeling is the success of Genshin Impact. Let's remind everybody that Genshin Impact is a gacha game. Gacha games are basically toy vending machines. Not exactly a great mechanic for a game to have, but the success of Genshin being a MMO light, let's say, or I like to say mock MMO, where they kind of mock the idea, and not mock as in haha you're funny, but mock as in imitate the MMO format. To not go full bore and say that Blue Protocol was an MMO and that kind of language has been shifting worries me heavily, because as you can see, an online action RPG is very different than an MMO, massively multiplayer game. I think the MMO tagline is very scary to casuals. However, when you look up Blue Protocol, you will see tons of MMO taglines. MMO Blue Protocol, the tagline. What I'm kind of saying is that that language is changing, and therefore the game might be. It may not be as full MMO as I was hoping and many others were hoping. Again, go check this video out if you want more, but let me know what you think. Are MMOs casual friendly? If Blue Protocol ends up more like Genshin Impact, which I am a fan of Genshin Impact, not a fan of what's currently going on with it because I find that it's really heavy on the gacha stuff. I do very much still like the game. I personally will be turned off and let down. Let me know what you think. And this ties into Crimson Desert. Devs talk about endgame content, gameplay, open world, and combat. This is from Alt Chair, which I find super surprising. They're already talking about endgame content in Crimson Desert, which is made by the same people who made Black Desert, but Crimson Desert isn't an MMO. I guess the speculation was that people thought Crimson Desert was an MMO, and it's not. And some members on the team have come out to say that it is, again, more like a mock MMO. It has online elements. It's not an MMO. When asked about the shift from an MMO to an open world action game, Daily Kim, executive producer and founder, replied that they wanted to offer players several modes of gameplay. That's why the game will include action adventure mode and co-op mode. We designed the game so that players who've been engaged in multiplayer can switch to single player and take a break from the more competitive aspects of the game. The game has also been designed to allow players looking for an interactive gameplay experience to switch from single player to multiplayer, Kim explained. I did think this was going to be a single player action RPG with a great story, but it does seem now that the game will have online elements. And this is no knock to Black Desert and Black Desert Online, but the story of Black Desert Online pales in comparison to something like Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft, which are huge MMOs. This has me a little worried that the Crimson Desert and Black Desert teams, devs, whatever, don't necessarily have the great story in place to carry the game. They're going to do a Black Desert type of thing. That has me worried for Crimson Desert, especially how ambitious this game looked. And my big question is, why talk about endgame content so soon? Endgame content is most important in an MMO as terms of a genre. Endgame is also important in your role-playing games. You know, Final Fantasy will have some endgame, maybe, sometimes. Other games do endgame, maybe like a Destiny. But again, MMO. Why would they even talk about endgame in Crimson Desert? I'm a little worried. The game has a lot going on, however beautiful it had looked. I was a little worried when I talked about it before, and I'm still a little worried now. Is it going to have that AAA S-tier class story? I don't think it's going to have that anymore. I think it's going to be Black Desert 2.0. It's called the Crimson Desert. Let me know what you think. I don't want it to seem like I'm hating on the game, because I am excited for what it's trying to do, which is a lot, and I always commend effort when trying in gaming and doing new things. There was a lot of issues in that trailer. I'm worried that they're not even going to be able to pull all of that off, let alone giving me a great story, because they haven't proved that they can. Let's talk about the highlight of this video: Black Myth Wukong release date, trailers, developer, and more. Another Game Rant article, definitely check it out. I try to give articles and at least clips or at least videos, something that you can follow up on some of the information I'm talking about. But the trailer for Black Myth Wukong was amazing. Black Myth Wukong, for those that don't know, is an upcoming action RPG currently being developed by a Chinese studio named Game Science. The game was announced last year in August alongside its first gameplay reveal and immediately sparked interest in many gamers. Since then, the developer went silent for a while as some of the fandoms regarding the title withered away. I doubt that entirely, that it withered away. We are all hyped about Black Myth Wukong. However, a recent gameplay showcase has rejuvenated the interest of fans once again. The release date of Black Myth Wukong isn't confirmed as of yet, but developer Game Science has plans of completing and releasing the game by 2023. The most interesting piece of information about the developer is that it's a relatively small indie studio, while Black Myth Wukong has a playable demo that looks to be of a AAA quality with state-of-the-art visuals and gameplay. While this may be the studio's debut title, the team has worked on MMORPGs and free-to-play mobile games, and eventually decided to go all out on a AAA experience around sometime in 2017. I pulled this to take note that it's okay to do your mobiles, it's okay to do your MMORPGs, but if you want to sit down and make a AAA title, make your AAA title. Now, this statement, in comparison to something like Crimson Desert, it's very clear what Black Myth Wukong wants to do, and they're excelling at it. With Crimson Desert, it looks a little muddied, doesn't look like it has the focus, it looks very scattered, and that's not me even mentioning all the things they showed in that trailer. Look at the difference when you focus to set out to make a game that is an action RPG versus making a mock MMO. Not saying that the mock MMO can't work, but there will be a huge difference between Black Myth and Crimson Desert. Based on the Monkey God or Journey to the West, maybe even, I don't know, I'm just really excited about Black Myth Wukong. It was just such a good week or so in gaming that I wanted to throw it all out here and give an update. Let me know what you thought about any of the things discussed here. The influence of Genshin Impact. Is Crimson Desert going too far? How hyped are you for Black Myth Wukong, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, and of course the idea of haptic feedback and 3D audio in the Callisto protocol being yet another reason as to why the PlayStation 5 is the truest next-gen console. I know I talk a lot, I might have rambled, but I didn't really rant. I'm the grown kid, and I'll catch you back in another video.